Yo, what's up, guys? This is the P1 3.0. I'm gonna be throwing this thing out finally. But before we go, this is just how everything is. Right now, basically, when I hit the thing, this thing came sideways. This headlight right here is really flimsy, so when you get it, this thing is most likely gonna move up and down, which is really annoying. Cause I don't, there might be a way to like tighten it, but you can't really do too much with it. So with like the P1 Pro and the FF Light, the headlight is like secured up here. But this one is gonna be a little bit flimsy. And then I guess I hit this thing. Right now, like the handlebar, when I move the handlebar, this thing doesn't really move properly. So I think it's cracked somewhere in the shaft. I was gonna take it apart, but like there's all these screws, and I was like, I gotta repair the Hyperion and stuff like that. Just switch out the Tron strip on there. So I'm not really gonna be doing it, but as you can see, I'm moving it, but like basically if you put it on the ground, this thing is not gonna move. So I think something in the frame right here is destroyed, but these are like the headlights on and off. This is the horn, and then this is how you would turn it on. But I think this controller or whatever this thing is, I did replace it, but I think after it got hit, I think this thing broke again. So it's not turning on. I think that's why. But anyways, this thing is really stable, but I opened up the deck here. There's integrated shocks, and then there's these wires, the mechanical disc brakes. I don't really like them. That's why I suggest if you are gonna get the P1 3.0, I would get the Solar EQ instead. The Solar EQ is basically the P1 3.0, except it has turn signals. That's one thing, and then the other thing is it has hydraulic disc brakes. Hydraulic disc brakes, you gotta have them. If you don't have them, you're gonna get screwed when you need to stop, and trust me, it's worth it. I do like these handlebars though. Like you can basically, I'm trying to hold the phone in one hand, but if you do that, this thing folds down. If you are gonna put it away, one of the handlebars always takes up a lot of space with like the FF Light and stuff like that when you're trying to put it in a car. So this thing right here is really good. This side is broken. I think this thing got chipped right here, so that part doesn't close. But this thing is definitely helpful. I wouldn't say it's wobbly in any way because, again, I'm riding this thing, I've never once gotten a wobble. Like, you know how when you're like riding the Hyperion, you can like, you'll sometimes get a wobble if you go really fast. This thing, I think the design of the scooter is just really good because I've gone 50 miles going over bumps on the road, potholes, never once, like, not even the slightest wobble. So I think the design itself is really good. So I'm assuming the P1 Pro is going to be the same thing. I don't have the P1 Pro. I just have the P1 3.0, the Hyperion. FF 2.0 is coming in a few days, and then I got the FF Lite. But yeah, that's going to be the P1 Pro if you open it up. I think this is the battery. It's it says 18.2 amp hours. You get about 10 miles of range if you go max speed on it. But that's that, and then I'm assuming that thing down here is the controller. You can see that's the controller right there. And there's all these wires, obviously. There's gonna be 2 charging ports. And that's about it, yeah. Like, I inflated, like... Oh, and then the other thing that's gonna break with the P1 3.0 is gonna be this thing right here. This light right here, one of the screws already came out. But this thing will come loose, so you better have a screwdriver to keep... because this thing will come loose. This is probably one of the first things that will break. And in addition to that, it's going to be this headlight constantly moving up and down, which gets really annoying because you don't want to point it at the ceiling, but then you don't want to point it straight down because then you can't see either. So I guess that's about it with everything, you know. I think that's about it. So obviously this deck comes off as well. This one doesn't have the Tron lights, so it looks like this, but if you were, oh dang, oh wait, no, I thought that was cracked for a second, but I guess that's where the wire goes through. So I guess it's not really cracked, but this stem right here is definitely cracked somewhere because I don't know if you guys can tell, this whole entire front part, it's crooked. Like this headlight is crooked as well, but this wheel, it's supposed to go straight down like this. It's like bent this way. And like, if you look at it in real life, it looks a lot worse, but I think something is bent in here. So obviously that's that. Obviously it's a good thing that it got bent though, because obviously if the scooter absorbs impact, that takes away impact from like me, which is which could be like why I didn't like break my hand or anything like that. Like surprisingly, like hit a fucking car at like 45 miles an hour. I didn't break a leg or my arm or anything. So I think the scooter definitely took a ton of impact, which is why this thing is totaled. The front wheel doesn't move properly now. So I'm gonna be throwing this thing out, but I just opened it up the deck before I threw it out. And yeah, that's about it. This thing's the footrest here. And yeah, that's gonna be the P1 3.0. Roommate's about to come back from the shower.